So, we're going to start the story about a magical pumpkin. It could be a quest or it could be just an exploration of this magical pumpkin. But we need to start with the beginning. Always start with the exposition. And go.
Deep in the pumpkin patch of the Forbidden Grove grew something horrible and terrifying that dreamed of living
flesh. This pumpkin grew from a graveyard, you see, and it lived on the flesh of dead.
Also the bones. The bones were bad.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Stay up there, it's okay. We'll be easy on you this time. The bones of the
dead that were lying there rotting away over the years until finally they turned into dust.
And when they turned into dust, it generated an extreme magnetic field that exploded all over your face. So weird, all of a sudden these shrapnel were just coming at you.
And digging deep into the pumpkin's skin, embedding
monsters and villains lived inside this pumpkin.
And they wanted to escape from this magical
prison, which was orange and round.
And fluffy and cave-like. And the insides was so terrible and
that they were screaming in agony for thousands of years.
That it took them to crawl their way
through the abyss and into the light, which was the
gaping farm of the soul.
Day you dead, sorry. That's the fun part. When somebody dies, you can all go, die! I hear it. Die! Beautiful, okay. So I've kind of established the weirdness of this pumpkin, but this pumpkin is actually going to be doing something, and I'm going to assume that it's creeping along to accomplish something. You guys will figure out what it's trying to accomplish. Ready, and go.
The pumpkin was hungrier than it was before.
Because it was living a life of a lie.
The pumpkin seeds inside its skin trembled with anger.
With the administration at the time of the political government.
It was all in chaos and they needed something injected into the system to make it
sweet. They wanted food. They wanted to be loved
by the people. And so therefore, they wanted to create
a new world order
where everybody loved the pumpkin.
And it's still not. The pumpkin, this right-wing pumpkin,
Republican pumpkin, decided to run for prime minister.
But to do so, it needed funds, so it started campaigning around the world by
dragon riding.
Unicorn pet.
Unicorns with fire breathing.
Rush Limbaugh face.
Motherfuckers.
No, seriously.
I'd have said motherfuckers like
Stop doing that!
Alright, so the pumpkin is now going to face off against this arch enemy. Somebody give me the arch enemy, the pumpkin. Put your hands up. Who's the arch enemy, the pumpkin? You!
the tea kettle.
The tea kettle is the arch enemy. The tea kettle is the enemy of the pumpkin, of this magical, mystical pumpkin. Start telling me the story of when they first meet and they're going to do battle.
When the teapot first arrived, it was hot.
Tea kettle.
Tea kettle was arrived, it was hot, and it was attempting to boil the pumpkin.
The hot water poured out of its spout all over the pumpkin, and the pumpkin just
die. Sorry, it gets tough. Big hand. Continue the fight.
I'm a little tea kettle, short and stout. Here is my handle. I'm going to kick your ass.
You bastard! The pumpkin cried out in fear
of the number of votes that this tea
kettle that could sing such beautiful songs
that it would make the entire audience cry
with tears of rage
for all the injustices
the pumpkin had ever committed
against the people of this
poor
province
of Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan is a place where large pumpkins exist for
pleasure and profit. The tea kettle, realizing
that it has an extreme political
power in Saskatchewan, decided to throw a
party for the extremists?
Because so everyone knows, there's nothing extremists like more than tea parties.
With the alcohol-filled extremists
setting themselves on fire and running
naked down the streets.
Which one are you pointing at?
You!
I didn't die!
I love that. Everyone, my eyes are so messed up, nobody can tell where I'm looking. Oh, God. Okay.
Where can he go now, Beej?
The tea kettle, let's assume that he defeated the pumpkin, and now the pumpkin is sorrowful in his old age. So where do we go from there?
The pumpkin now dreamed only becoming juice, lying
flat along the ground,
Where he lie of him rot himself.
and blood poured out of
his nose,
And eyes.
and feet,
and butt
and ears,
And every other,
orifice,
that it has,
including the
ass,
and eyeballs,
and
eyelashes.
nostrils,
face.
But it had no
hair,
Because
lost,
to radiation.
of
Lex Luthor.
and
Superman.
so
So, where the hell do we go now?
the death of the pumpkin.
Oh, after death, the funeral of the pumpkin.
Yes.
The funeral of the magical pumpkin.
The pumpkin will be remembered by the people
Bull of Metropolis.
as
Honest,
and hardworking because of its
rotting corpse that was made into many delicious
pies for
people, and
children to eat because,
orphans need pumpkin pie
but not the fresh pumpkin pie.
because they aren't worth it.
And they're
Creatures
because they
have no
reading ability
or love.
or parents.
The pumpkin,
Was a
hard worker,
parent to all
children,
and the orphans,
in
including one Lex Luthor.
who grew up to give the great eulogy about how the pumpkin was a beautiful soul despite his rotting interior. Lex Luthor sobbed mercilessly into the
Cup before him, which was
to be
drank by
all attendees
these.
of the funeral party.
Thankfully,
The pumpkin,
gave up
its seeds,
and spread them across the land in YouTube.
to video.